This is vlog 8 and today we are going to talk about range. So range, we always think of high notes, you know, that's the first thing that comes out, but actually it's low notes as well. How low can we play? How high can we play? Hope you're enjoying playing. I hope you're, picking out your trumpet, you're playing with some backing tracks and playing your cornet, maybe playing along with some of the brass band things. You know, there's some great videos out there. Remember to keep finding the clips that inspire you as well. There's been some great ones. I really loved this one today. It was Hugh Jackman, and it was one of the not outtakes, but kind of behind the scenes of From Now On, the song from The Greatest Showman. And Hugh Jackman was just recovering from having a major surgery on his nose after cancer, and he was basically in the rehearsal, he was told not to sing and he just was losing it and couldn't help but sing because it's such a great tune, and just seeing the joy in everybody's faces just really got me buzzing. So range and extending range. The best thing to do is make sure that we've got all of our basic techniques sorted. So our breathing and blowing, we're staying relaxed, we've built up our embouchure strength with our flutter-tonguing, and again, use these tricks back, you know. So for example, if I'm comfortable going low C, low, middle, high, from low C, so you can add the next one on, which is a high E. That's 4 harmonics. Add the next one on. Now, don't just do it once and run away from it and say, yes, I've done it, I've achieved it, that's fine. Let's then extend. Let's see what we can do to get this better and cleaner. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flutter tongue them. You know, so straight away, that makes it so much harder. I'm going to try it quieter. I'm going to try it quiet, flutter-tongued, and I'm going to just keep trying to push that up. So can I get 5 harmonics? Can I get 6? What happens when I get past the top C? It gets very high and all close together. Again, it's just about going slowly. I would use little gaps of an octave and practice that, because that really helps. Just pull the embouchure into shape for it. Again, you can flutter-tongue it. And that really, really does get the work out, and it will help extend your range. The most important thing though is to play up there. It does sound very squealy and really high, especially once we get up into the silliness. You know, once we get up there, it does sound quite squealy and weird. But the way that I did it was really simple. I took my brass band hymn book and I just played everything up an octave. So you know, and just concentrating on the basic things like not using the mouthpiece pressure, trying to keep that as reduced as possible, and also keeping the air moving and just trying to stay relaxed. And that's the thing. If we're playing slow tunes up an octave, it's really good to stay as relaxed as possible and keep your technique as relaxed as possible. So use some of the slow tunes, use things off my YouTube channel, the Brass Blast UK, and play them up an octave. It's a really good skill just to be able to read up an octave as well. So try that, and that should really, really help expand and extend your range. The final tip on playing high is I like to think of it as airspeed. So we've got to look at how we can increase the airspeed. And basically we do that like when we whistle. If we whistle a low note, our tongue stays flat. A middle note, it kind of lifts slightly, but then a high note, it kind of goes up. So what that does is when we start closing the gap with the tongue by going ta-e, and once we get to that E, our tongue's really high in our mouth and the gap is tiny. It means the air's got to really rush through to get out and into the mouthpiece and through the instrument. And that increases the pitch. So the way I like to think of it is dead simple. I like to think of you blowing a ping pong ball. If I blow a ping pong ball at 5 miles an hour, I get that low C. If I increase that blowing to 10 miles an hour to move that ball faster, I get the C above. If I want to then get the next C above that, I've got to double that again. So I go from 10 to 20 miles an hour. And then if I want to get to the C above that, which super C, I've got to then increase 20 to 40 miles an hour. So that's a lot of speed of air. And it's all about that. Now, obviously, I can't factor in my head how to increase 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour, so the C above it is not going to happen for me. But if we think of that, 5, 10, 20, 40. If we think of that increase like that, that's a really good way to show us how much air and pressure and speed we need to get through these things and through these high notes.